Hello students, good morning to all. So today we'll continue our discussion on lesson 2, Internet Services. So today we'll study about the email services, and this email services is of two types: web-based email and client-based email. Web-based email and client-based email. So see, first web-based web services. So this web services allows exchange of information between application on the web. Using web services, applications can easily interact with each other. So the web services offered using concept of utility computing, that is called the utility computing. So in this web-based services, there is the use of the triple W server, known as W3 also. It offers a way to access the documents spread over the several servers over the internet. So many documents which are spread over the internet and stored in the several servers. And these servers are connected with each other, forms the internet. These documents may contain text, graphics, audio, video, hyperlink. And the hyperlinks allows the users to navigate between the documents. Now, this web-based email can be accessed by the users. So how this web-based email can be accessed? So the web-based email can be accessed by the users across the globe from any computer connected to the internet at any time. Due to this flexibility only, because we can access the content from one web to the other web at any time, at anywhere. So these email services have become very popular, especially among those people who are always traveling. For using web-based email, one needs to first register with an email service provider. If you want to use any web services, first you have to make your email account. So you have to register yourself in order to get without creating a mail account. You cannot use the Google Drive. You cannot use the Google Classroom. Even you cannot use the YouTube. So you had to create a account, and you have to create a login with a username and password. The username is the email address which will become operational after registration. Using this email address and password, you can log into the web-based email. So a logging in, one can create, send and receive the forward and delete the emails. So after logging in, you can create an email, you can compose a mail, you can send a mail to someone, you can receive the mail, you can read your mail from the inbox, and you can delete your mail. Some well-known free web-based email services are the gmail.com, yahoo.com, mmsn.com. Next is the application-based email, or this is also called the client-based email. So what is this client-based email? So client-based email means you need to install a program on your computer. So if you want to install a program on a computer to use it, that is the client-based. To read the email, some of the examples of the client-based email programs are the Outlook Express, Mozilla Thunderbird, and Foxmail Mail. For all the mails, following information is required. For any mail, if you want to send, what you need: username. The username is the name you choose to identify. So for any mail, what we need? Username. Uh, like this is the username. Let me show you any some mail, example of mail. Like this is username, md@tutorialspoint.com. So md is the username. Okay, like this. Now the username is the name you choose to identify yourself. It is the first part of the email address that is given before the @ symbol. So before the @ symbol, what is written? MD is the username. A username is always paired with password. A username and password combination is preferred to as login, which is required for users to log in to the websites. So password, after writing the username, when you press the enter key to ask the password, each username has to have a password. A password is a confidential string of alphanumeric characters. Alphanumeric means it contains the alphabet and numbers, and some special symbols like we are using @ or underscore. This prevents the password from being easily guessed or hacked. The email software might also have certain rules for setting a password. Your password cannot be less than 8 characters. For example, a password may require both the lowercase and uppercase letters along with a special character. Password must be memorized and not written anywhere. Don't write the password anywhere, otherwise others can copy it. So try to create a strong password. So how you can create a strong password? Never use personal information such as your name, birthday, username or email address as a password. Now this type of information is often publicly available, which make it easier to for someone to guess your password. Use a long password containing minimum 8 characters, which with a combination of letters and numbers or special characters. Do not use the same password for separate accounts. Next, email address. So a valid email address looks like that, like principalharry@gmail.com. POP3 server address. It is the address one should configure to get the incoming mail. That is the POP3 server. This is the post office protocol. So it is the address should configure to get the incoming mail. Post office protocol version 3 is a very common internet email protocol for retrieving the emails from there. If you want to read the email, if you want to find the email from the inbox, so that is loaded from the web server with the help of this POP protocol. It is very common internet email protocol for retrieving emails from remote web server using a local client. SMTP server address. So this is the address one should configure to send an outgoing mail. For sending the mail to other computer, we use the SMTP protocol, which is called the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Server takes care of the entire email delivery process. One must configure the correct SMTP settings, including the SMTP address to send messages with an email client or software. Okay, now how you create an email account? If you want to create an email account, so how you will create it? So why this email we are using? So first of all, you see, email is widely used as a form of inexpensive and highly effective business communication tool. Emails are rarely taken printouts of and are used to soft copies because it is used to archive and retrieve emails. On the Gmail server, all the mails are stored. The reason of its popularity is its ease of access. Very easily you can access your older mail also, which everyone in an organization starting from the CEO to the janitor can use. Means you can also access the same thing, and some small officials also can use it. Okay. So taking that, let us discuss the difference between a text conversation and email writing. So text message conversation means in text message conversation, two people can exchange the information, share details, provide corrections, and ask for clarification in a rapid back and forth manner of communication. That is a text message conversation. You can use it. In the email, compared to this, emails are read by professionals who, depending on their work, may get anything between 20 to 200 emails per day. They neither want to engage in a back and forth conversation nor have the time to ask for details multiple times. They just want to understand the content of the email, read out the instructions, process the information, get the task done, and empty the unread section of their box. Keeping this in mind, discuss some tricks to write the effective emails. How you write some a good email. Plan your message. Use the subject line to grab the reader's attention. Keep your message short and clear. Don't type your entire message in lowercase. Proofread your message before sending it. Assume concordable proofread means check the spellings and grammars. If you are angry, take a few minutes to cool down before sending an email. Don't type your message in capitals. Capitals are considered to be shouting. In certain cases, emails may not be suitable. Refer to call someone when you have to discuss personal, sensitive, or confidential information. You are going to give bad news. Your message is complex and meaning might be lost in wordings. So you need an immediate response. What are the legal risks of the mails? Emails are preferred mode of communication for a lot of workplaces, and this means they carry a lot of information, and that could be the confidential. So the security and confidentiality of the information in the emails is the joint responsibility of both the sender and recipients. Companies have strict guidelines to safeguard their documents and their contents. So let us see here. You and your company will be liable for the numerous legal suits if you violate something. You send or forward emails without with offensive content. If you are sending the content in the mail, offensive words are there, so you are be liable and a trial will be put on you. You send an attachment that has a virus. Don't send the virus to someone. You forward the sender's email to another person without permission. So you are forwarding the sender's mail. You cannot forward the someone's mail to other without their permission. That also you cannot do. You try to forge others' emails or send emails from others' accounts. You try to conceal your identity from the receivers when sending email. You copy a message belonging to another person without permission. So you cannot copy a message belonging to another person without their permission. That is also the illegal thing. Okay. Now we'll study that how we create an email account. So to create an email account, first of all, you have to connect to the internet. Open any internet browser and type the www.gmail.com. So the browser will display the page as shown in the figure you can see in your book, page number 35, figure 2.1. So this page will open Google. So here you click on the create account option at the bottom, which is a red color border. The sign up form will appear as shown in figure 2.2. You can see the registration form will open. It will ask you the first name and last name. Enter your first name and last name. Type your desired username. Okay. And if the username already exists at the same email address provider, it will not be accepted. So change the username and you will have to try a new username. So if any username, suppose my Gmail ID is Bhanu Pratap Misra 130 at the rate gmail.com. So that is used by me. So I cannot, so other person cannot use this. So on the place of 113, other person have to use 114, 117, whatever the vacant ID will be. Choose a strong password that is at least 8 characters long by using a combination of alphabet digits and at least one special character. After, so that I can show you by opening the Gmail. So retype your password in the confirm box and click on the next button. Again you have to retype your password to make it confirm and then click on the next button. Enter your phone number, recovery for the email address and date of birth and gender in the given spaces. Click on the next button. The privacy in terms window will appear. In figure 2.3 you can see. Read it carefully and click on the I agree button. So now your email account is created. Okay. So this is all for the today, students. In the next class, we will continue our discussion that how you view the received emails and how you compose an email. So this is all for today. Thank you for your kind attention.